Good afternoon everyone, it's Carol here at Oak House Journals. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, and I'm going to do assignment number 15 in Margarete Miller's Collage Weekly Planner Challenge for 2023. So I've got my list of prompts here and I've got my background piece of paper that I will be working on today, and if I pop that underneath, let's go through the prompts. Something with fins. Well, I've got an image here that I fussy cut of a mermaid, and obviously she's got fins. A person. Well, I've gone with two images here. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. This one hits the prompt perfectly. It's the image of a boy, and again I fussy cut him out. And I've got this other one, and this is two salty mariners or sailors, and I'm not quite sure which one I want to play with. This one doesn't quite hit the prompt in terms of it's two rather than a person singular. I am leaning towards using this gentleman, but I may well resort to using these two guys. Third prompt is a triangle. Well, I've got some of these print-on stickers that are postage stamps by LCN Design Studio, and again, details in the description box below the video. And as you can see, I've got one here that is a triangle, so I'm going to be using that one. A game piece. Now, this is where I was struggling this week. I don't really have any game pieces that are redundant, and I was hunting around trying to think of something that I could use, and then I remembered I brought this lottery sheet back from Australia when we were there recently on holiday, and technically you need this sheet of paper to be able to play lotto in Australia, so technically it is part of the game. It is a game piece, so I'm going to rely on that and use it in my assignment this week. It's not ideal, but I'm going to see what I can do with it. The next one is a date. I've got this piece of vintage piece of an indenture, and the date is written out in full just here, so I'm going to be using that. And the bonus is a contraption. Well, this is part of a pendulum. It's called a pendulum escape, and it's part of a clock. This image came out of a horology magazine, so I'm going to be using that. And I'm also going to be using this. This is an image that I originally thought I would use this week, but I've decided I don't want to use the mermaid. I wanted to use the fussy cut one. So rather than have this go to waste, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the background on my piece today. May well need chopping down, I don't know as yet. So let's get started. I'm going to pop that up there and let's see what I can do. Now, I was thinking that if I trim this down a little bit, I could frame it on this coloured piece at the back. Not sure where I'm going to put my date yet. I thought that I could cover up this writing at the bottom, which I don't particularly want. So I was thinking about having my mermaid half on and half off down there, like that. And this is where these gentlemen come in. My original thought was I would use this to make an origami boat and put it on here and have these pieces as the mast, and then use my triangle prompt for the sail. It didn't really work. I didn't like the look of the little boat that I created with this, so I've ditched that idea. But I still like the idea of these rods being almost like masts. Now, these two gentlemen, they could stand like that and use this as a base to ground them, and they could stand roughly like that on here and almost be looking out to sea, if you will. And if I trim this down a little bit, then I'll get some more of the background, which probably will tie it in a little bit better. So I might use them, I'm not sure about that. Or my other thought with this gentleman, again, was to have him on this and use it a bit like rigging. Now, I like the fact that he's got his hand up here. Now, originally he had a paddle in his hand, but I thought if I pop him on here and bring him down a little bit and over, I can have it something like that, so that he actually looks like he's sitting on the contraption, but actually holding on to this bit coming down there, which would almost make it look like he's trying to capture the mermaid. Now, if I pull that up more and have her further down, then it almost looks like she's swimming up to try and see what he's doing, in which case I was thinking that I would have this perhaps hiding that up there. So let me just roughly cut it out. I am very conscious that I've still got to get in my date and also my lottery piece, but I'm just going to play with these pieces for the moment. Let's pop that bit off to one side. So I was kind of thinking maybe I could have my triangle like that. I prefer it on this one to try and hide it a little bit. So I was thinking maybe I could make use of it like that. I could always put another one behind to make it appear like it's a double sail, something like that. I've trimmed down my lottery paper, and originally I was going to have it tucked in behind here, but I'm really not liking it at all, so I'm going to leave that for the moment. And I have been having a little bit of a play with the indenture. I've also, as you can see here, found another one of these stickers, so I'm going to use both of those. I'm just going to pop them up there for the moment. What I was thinking was maybe if I could try and line this up with this. I'm not sure that I'm going to have enough room to do that, so I'm just going to move that across like that. I do want to get a border there if I can, because I think that will be really helpful for tying in my colours. My mermaid could come a bit more over to the left hand side than I originally imagined, but I'm wondering whether this would work. Take away the red border. I was just looking to see whether or not this would be outside the border, so quite happily chopped off, but also leave enough of the scroll work there, and I can do that. I'm going to use my guillotine, and I'm going to trim that one off, this line here, and I'm going to trim along the bottom there. I'm not going to take that away yet because I might use that, I don't know. I just want to have a little bit of a play and see if that will work. Now if I take it to the edge of the border on this side, then it's going to encroach on this too much. I am going to trim that away up there. To get some more space here is I can trim that closer, which is what I'm going to do, and I might have to tear a little bit off here. So let me just do those and see how they work. Soften that transition down there. I'm thinking of cutting this as a straight edge as well, down there. And I'm going to take this, trim it across there. Okay, that's coming together for me now. Not ideal, but not too bad. I think I might pull that down and just have it lined up the edge of the indenture paper with this paper here, which means that this dark bit up here almost looks like it's scrolling down into the indenture paper there. Now, oh goodness, how on earth I'm going to work this in, I don't know. I'm wondering whether I could put a little bit down here under her. I'm going to put some glue under this guy here because I like the angle that he's at. I'm happy with that. Let me trim this bit off at the bottom here. And I can see my mark. Oh, it's on the other side. Does help, Carol, does help. So trim that bit off. That like that. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue behind here. So that's that. I was thinking of having this like so coming down there. Okay, now I can glue his leg in place. Okay, so let me bring in my background piece. Mermaid, I'm going to need to pull that up. So I'm just going to slide it in for the time being to see if I can see what the colour looks like. Probably not going to like this at all, but I've got to make use of it somehow. And that's actually not too bad with that down there because of the red here. I'm still not keen on it though, so I'm going to move this across. Maybe I can just make use of it down there. let's get this back in. So I'm thinking maybe I could do something like that and even reduce it down more. Yeah, definitely reduce it down some more. It's not too bad. I feel like I need to do something up there. Let me rip this down a little bit more. What I've decided to do with this piece is to trim this edge off so that it sits on top of the white here, leaves me with some of that coloured border there, and I'm just lining it up so that it hides the writing or the start of the writing, and then this edge ends level with the date. So I'm having it just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my mermaid, and I'm just going to have her covering the rest of the writing there like that, which means she's still below that, and her tail actually goes over the join between these two because the lottery piece is actually just ripped away. So I'm having that like that, and I'm just going to glue this in place now. Okay, my mermaid and the lottery piece are stuck down now, and I need to get in my stamps. So I'm thinking that when I've peeled the backing off, I'll have it like that so that you can actually see a bit of the bolt, and this one like that, so that they maybe pull this one forward so that they overlap each other. Wondering whether I can use that down there. I'm just trimming the stamps down, or the stickers down, using my hairdressing scissors. These are thinning scissors, but it isn't really liking the plastic that these are covered with. It is going through it. I might have to trim it a little bit more with my straight edge scissors, just to sort out one or two pieces like that. This is what my finished collage should look like, but as I've mentioned before, I'm really not happy with this blank space up here. This isn't by far my best effort, but it's as good as I've managed to get for this week. So I've got a little label here with some red on it to try and pick up these colours down here, and I'm going to put it at the top here, and I'm going to go outside the white boundary of this white piece onto the coloured border. So I'm having that like that. Let me pull in the prompts and quickly go through the prompts with you. So something with fins, well, I've got my mermaid down here. A person, I've got my lad there who's on this contraption piece and looks like he's fishing. A triangle, well, I actually went with two. I went with the stamp stickers up there. A game piece, well, I've got my lottery paper down here. A date, well, I went with my indenture, and I also went with a date on there. And bonus, a contraption, well, that's in the background here. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sorry it wasn't a bit more imaginative, and as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, how can I rectify this? How can I alter it or change it, or do I just leave it as it is, or even perhaps start again and try another? So what I think I'll do is I'll sit with this one for a day or so and have a look at it. If some great revelation comes to mind in how I can pull this together better, then I will show you at the beginning of the next video, which will be assignment number 16. And if I decide that I want to redo this completely, then again I'll show you at the beginning of the next video for assignment 16. So until then, everybody, thank you again for watching. Take care, have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye now.